Hi, hope you're all doing well. This is the promised video for installing the new stock and butt stock holder on the Zeus. It could not be more simple. The parts that are laid out here are the same parts that you get. This is a brand new out of the box Zeus Gen 2. There are two variations of Gen 2, and then there's at least one variation of Gen 1. The later version of Gen 2, how you figure that one out is right here. You'll remember on the other one, the safety is straight and then it has a hole on it where you got that little indexable rod that sticks out. The latest Gen 2 doesn't have that, and there's a slight change in the trigger. Other than that, it's not a big deal. There's nothing that will affect the setup of the kit. So getting right into this so that this isn't a 20-minute video, I've already taken the screws loose on this, but this pops out. It's just sitting in place. At this point, we're not going to need the stock anymore. So now we're down to these parts. Obviously, this is a very big gun because this is the 32-inch with the large tube. The configuration can be anything you want it to be. Here is one of them that I've got set up. This is using a 12-inch rifled barrel, a shorter tank. It's kind of a large pistol. However, in seconds, you can have the stock on literally less than 30 seconds, and it's a little short-barreled rifle. I've got smoothbore 18-inch. I've got rifled 16-inch 58 cal. There's so many different variations of this out there now, half a dozen that I've made. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the great big rifle. Even with this, it might be the 24 or 16-inch. Anyway, first thing you do is you remove this. The only reason for this is to keep the wood from shearing off this little block. So this block, like the stock, goes away. Don't have to throw away, put it in a bag somewhere, because if you ever try to return it back to how it was before, you may want to keep these parts. So 3 millimeter, 4.5 millimeter, 6 millimeter. That's all the tools you're going to need to do the entire job. Step one, just to make it nice and simple, we size this in a way that all three of these finger guards work. They are different. You've got a short screw and a longer screw. Longer screw goes in the front hole. Shorter screw goes in the back hole. And we grab the 3 and get that lined up. There we go. Nothing ever cooperates when it's on film. So that part is done. You've now done the switch over from the wood stock to the metal stock. That part is done. While we're sitting right here, we might as well go ahead and install the Picatinny rail. The Picatinny rail is also the same 3 millimeter tool. You don't have to have this, but it comes with a kit, so if you want it, more power to you. For some people, the Picatinny rail is just another sharper edge to cut their hand. So if you don't have a use for it, maybe you just leave it in the bag until you do have a use for it. Gun's got a lot of power, got a little bit of kick to it, and there's no sense coming away with a scar. If you think this is a permanent thing that you're going to leave this kit on, the kit also comes with Loctite. Doesn't take a lot, just takes a single little drop. Loctite on these screws will lock them tight. So first screw. This is a 4.5 millimeter for the grip. I had a bunch of grips and stocks that are pulls from other jobs, so I decided to include a grip in stock. Makes good use of them. So we get that in place, run the screw in tight. Lots of threads. I think we're reaching the end. The next thing is going to be the last 2 screws, but we're going to wait on this for a second, because on this one, we have one thing to do to the receiver, one more thing to the receiver, and it's remove that cap. Do not have air in the gun. Do not have the gun cocked. It should be still not sprung at this point, because if you've sprung it, that spring is now compressed. If you're able to get this off, you're going to have a real price at the end, and it's this cap bouncing off a wall somewhere, or your forehead or something. So you do not want to have the cap under pressure. So when you remove this thing, you're going to find a little steel rod and a spring. What you do is you set this piece and you start sliding it around till you get that rod like I just have. Now, this will not be on film because this is the easiest way to do it. What I do is I take it and I press it straight down and run it in. I'm in about 1.5 threads. Now, among the 3 guns, some of this is loose, some of this is tight. It only relies on a couple threads. This one is now in just under 2 threads. What I like to do is just take my stock, run the stock in. Any old AR stock will do. Set the jam nut. And at that point, I get to use the stock as a tool to get this in just a little bit further until I got it where I like it. And in this case, actually the stock lines up too. So stock and jam nut in, the adapter's in. So now, we take the actual stock, put it in, falls right in place. Again, Loctite if you think this is a permanent thing. And then we use the big one, the 6mm. The 6mm, only time it's used is removing the 1 block and then putting these 2 screws in. Let's get them both started first. Little snug there. We're done. So that was the entire changeover. We now have, try to get it back a little bit so you can see a better picture of the whole thing. We now have the aluminum stock, the adapter for the butt stock. It is all switched over. This one has the Picatinny rail. So this gun is ready to go. This is a Zeus 32-inch, brand new with the stock. So I've got some good news, and that is for those of you who haven't purchased one yet, I do have a few leftover stock, so I'm going to put them on guns and sell the guns. This is probably the first one that's going to get listed, is this Zeus with this stock. Zeus is 1,200, stock's 475. That's around 1,700 or so. I may knock a few bucks off and add a bunch of pellets to it, but this gun's going up for sale, and this gun's going up for sale. Now with this one, again, you add the stock in. Let's give it a few turns, and you set the jam nut. Now you need an AR tool for one reason only, and that it's already set up to tighten up these jam nuts, and that's a real good idea. So this gun in seconds can have a stock, that's where the release is, or in seconds you can remove it and just have a big old mean looking pistol / sawed-off shotgun looking thing. Again, this is a 12-inch rifle barrel. Both of these guns will be listed this morning up for sale. The only thing I'll say about this one is I wanted this particular tank because it fits really nicely. There was a time when I had every tank from 3-inch to 12-inch just as a set where I could test it on stuff. I never used them. This one was, I want to say, my 8.5, and if you look real close there, you can see 8.5. I just kind of went over it with a Sharpie. If that bugs you, don't buy this one. Or if you want this gun and you don't want that, I think I have some 7-inch tanks laying around, which should only be slightly shorter. So again, this is meant for an install video, not a sales video. I just wanted to let y'all know that these are going to go up for sale. After that, do keep up with all your parts. If you ever decide you want to switch back, you've got the original screw that would have held in the stock. You've got this piece and the little nut for it, and you've got this piece. Toss them all in a bag, have them somewhere just in case you ever need them. And then finally, to offset the cost of this build, if you do not think you're ever going to put this thing back together with a wood stock, you got yourself a nice pretty wood stock that's not broke. There's a lot of people out there with broke wood stocks that would like one. I've seen these go from $200 to $300. So that makes the kit cost a lot less if you put your stock up for sale. Anyway, I hope this helps. If you have any questions beyond what I've just said in the video, let me know and I'll be happy to take care of it. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.